Hi, Mike Kennedy. Side loading? What's side loading with a phone? I never heard of that before, but what they're talking about, which I have heard of before, is third-party apps. Normally, people will just download whatever apps are on Google Play for Android, or they've got an iPad or an iPhone, they would download it from the Apple site. I have a pat request. Pink the Wonder Dog. We are out taking a walk this morning. It's nice to have nice weather again and clear trails. I don't know if it will last long. It could snow quite a bit still here in Maine. So you kind of might think you're stuck with those things, only those apps. And with Apple software, that's pretty much true. I don't know of any way that you can actually download third-party apps and put them on your iPad, because their system is so controlled and so rigid. Maybe there is, and someone could comment below. But with the Android phones, it is very easy and possible. You have a security setting in here, and it will have something like, it will say like download third-party apps, unsecure apps, or something. But there's something you've got to switch in your phone, a setting that tells it that you want to be able to download apps that are not in the Google Play Store, these third-party apps. Well, what I had read was about this app called PipeView, a YouTube app for viewing YouTube, downloading YouTube, all kinds of stuff. And it's this third-party app. And then, of course, Parler was kicked off both the Apple site and Google, plus Amazon closed their account for the cloud services they were doing. But anyway, so if you want to have access to these other apps, how do you do it? You switch your phone to accept third-party apps. This Parler, I put in, how do I get Parler again into? I'm not usually using Google. I usually use DuckDuckGo, and it put me to a site and explained how to do it. Just downloads this APK file, and your phone will install it. It will give you a bunch of warnings saying, oh my goodness, this is the horriblest thing you ever did. Your phone is going to stop working maybe. We can't guarantee it's secure. Oh, it might have spyware. You go through all these warnings and then you put it on. Yes, the possibility could be there that one of these third-party apps does something wrong. But if you're going with ones that are popular and they've been reviewed by other people, some of them are open source, so if someone's really into it, they can go and look at it, everything about how it works. So anyway, I downloaded and got Parler again. And then, like I say, I wanted to do this PipeView too. And now that has kind of like two steps. So just like there's a site you go to get Apple approved, I'll use Google approved apps, the Google Play Store, there is this other site called F-Droid. And you install F-Droid, which is through this idea of turning on third-party apps. You download this, and then they have a number of software, apps that you can download. Now, a lot of them are really odd things that personally I probably wouldn't be as interested in, but they did have the PipeView app, so I downloaded that, and I've used it, and it's really nice. And like I say, one of the things it does is you can download a video and listen to it later. But just something to think about. To me, it seems like if we're going to use technology, maybe we should understand there are ways to use it without the big giants. In other words, if you have an Android phone, there's going to be more and more of these third-party apps, especially with all the concerns with security and things that are going on. People want to de-Google their phones and things like that. So I think it's a good exercise even just to do, like install this F-Droid, look at what's there, maybe try the PipeView app, and with the idea that then you're going to know how to do it. So if things get increasingly, stupid and invasive with companies like Google and Facebook and different things like that, that you'll have the knowledge to do some of these other things, so you can still get the functionality maybe you want out of your phone, even if one of the big tech giants doesn't want you to be able to do certain things. In other words, like with this Parler app, they don't want you to be able to do that. Well, now you can. And of course, with these, once something goes third party, way less people are going to end up downloading it and using it. So you're not going to see the same volume of things, perhaps, as far as apps that are being offered at third party, and maybe social media sites or something like Parler. Or I'm sure there's other ones that, and I think there's going to be a lot of other things like that. We're in a kind of mini explosion now, I would say now, of social platforms. People got really disillusioned with, well, one of the first one was Google Plus. That was really nice. It was more of a subject-based thing where you discuss things with different people, but it was more like, it wasn't like I went to visit my grandmother the other day and here's a picture of her. It was more about, well, oh, what kind of film are you using in your subminiature camera? Something like that. And I really liked it, and Google just closed it down. I guess the volume of people using it had been going down, so I guess I can understand them doing it, but it's kind of a bummer, because I think it served a purpose that, gotta move things, the dog I think wants to lay down, move things that are, people were using Facebook more and things like that, but there was still a real large number of people in Google Plus. Well, then we have Facebook with all the things we know about Facebook and the invasion of privacy, and people, massive numbers of people have dropped Facebook. Massive numbers of people have dropped WhatsApp and are transitioning to some of these other alternatives. And the thing is, there's so many of them now that the user base is much smaller, of course, than the billion of people that are on Facebook. But as time goes on, we'll see which one of these alternate platforms becomes used a lot. Now, Telegram has got quite a few people on it. I would say their main membership is in non-U.S. countries right now. That could change. When in February, what was it in February? I forget what exact month it was, but there was just a massive number of people who left Facebook all at once, and who closed out WhatsApp all at once. It was just a huge number of people that did it, and so you might want to check into the idea of, at least even if you're fine with what Google's doing and different things, it might still be to your benefit to learn how to do this, learn how to download it. If you've got an Android phone, how to download any third-party app, what's involved doing it, because you never know when, sometimes when there are these restrictions, people think they're only applying to other people until suddenly they find out that they're applying to something about them too as well. It's kind of like once you unleash this thing of censorship for political points of view, all of a sudden it's going to be for other points of view, and you're not going to like it either. So just my advice, learn how to install third-party apps if you have an Android-based phone, which all Google, that use the Google Play Store. Figure out how to set that to receive third-party app, and purposely go and try to download some and get them to work, And like I say, Parler was the one there. They just go to a separate website to get that. And then this F-Droid app that is kind of like a mini Google store that has this pipe view. I'm going to be checking out some of the other apps as well. But for now, I really think this pipe view looks really interesting as far as adding some functionality. You can set resolutions different. I guess you can do that with YouTube, although most people probably don't do it. But just a way to, I guess, use YouTube and not do it through a Google approved spying whatever app. Bye.